outside the simulation. I don't feel the same. Everything they just feels like a game outside the simulation. I just stay awake while they sleep inside the illusion they create. Outside the simulation. Outside the simulation.
What is going on, sexies? Another video, this time obviously out and about. Whew. But yeah, here we are. Hope you guys' reality is going good. I know my day's going good. But yeah, this one is about ego. And a good example is streamers. For example, Clavicular. He's famous and, hey man, you got your money, good shit. But it's like famous, it's just, dude, it's all ego based content, like very superficial, very emphasizing on how you care and how your physical form looks. You know, it's very ego. And there's only so far you'll get going based off of ego, you know. The ego always wants more, it always wants validation. It's a never ending game with the ego. But it's when you go beyond the ego into the soulful needs and you love yourself, who you are on the soul, inside and out, then your physical can change with that exception. But if you're just focused on the physicality, you know, you're putting a lot of resistance on getting to know yourself beyond the physical and the ego. And you're never really going to find true peace and happiness. You know, that's really a good example. I got no beef. I got nothing wrong with, you know, Clavicular, that dude, or whoever other streamer that's very physical, ego-based, whatever. It's just him. Hey, dude, they're doing something, right? Like, he's fucking a millionaire. He's 19 years old, 20 years old, financially free. He's doing something right. So I commend you, you know, like, good shit, whatever. But, like, I feel like, this isn't even the topic of the video, but I feel like when you have such a influence on a lot of people, especially the youth, I don't think that we should be telling people to do it, to, you know, smash their jaw, to do meth or do coke or like do steroids and, you know, focus on very egoic based stuff and kind of just objectifying women as well. It's not good. Like, if I had that, and when I have that influence, I'm doing it with what I'm doing now, you know. I'm making spiritual videos. I'm reminding you all that we're not the ego, beyond it. You're not crazy, we're not alone, we're all connected, we're all one, you know what I mean? And you came here for a reason, obviously, not just to settle and consume. So it's a different way of going at it for sure. But damn, bro, I was just, because this whole video is about how we're not the ego, you know. And just a lot of young kids are watching streamers who are very, you know, degenerate, you know, and ego-based. So that was just a good example. But again, I got no hate. There wasn't one time. It's funny though, the ego's funny, right? Like, there wasn't one time where, like, in a way I had a sense of jealousy because he's younger than me and he's free. He's financially free, right? He can do what he wants, whatever. But then it's like, what? That's his journey. I'm on my own journey. You know, when we compare our realities to someone else, you're only abandoning yourself. You know, and this whole point, at a higher level of existence, you know, you chose your form, you chose to have this experience, so I can't hate. I love myself, I love my form, you know. That's his life and this is my life, so we can't compare. And that's what the ego does, it compares. And that's exactly what this video is about. It's about how we just fuck the ego. Well, it's there for you, but just don't compare. Hey, Bob. Just wanted to say hi to Bob real quick. You know what I mean? Classic Bob eating the grass. And then classic farm dogs barking at me. Look at, bro. They're over here. They're going to come down real quick. Thankfully, there's a fence. I mean, they look like nice dogs, not gonna lie. They're not no pit bulls or Rottweilers, but, you know. But yeah, where the ego is a tool, but it's just knowing and being aware that you are beyond it. And not identifying with it. So that's what this video is about. But I'm going to a spot to record. I just wanted to give a good little intro. But you know what I mean? But that's how it works nowadays on the internet. If you can garner a lot of attention, you can monetize that, right? And so they may be degenerate, but they're monetizing themselves through all this attention. Hey, buddy! Or a female, I don't know. I don't know if it's a girl dog or what. It's like a cauliflower dog. What is it? Australian Shepherd? I don't know. Border Collie? I don't even know. So cute though. We got the other German Shepherd over there just chilling. Good girl. I think it's a girl. Hi. Yeah. Running back and forth. Later. Anyways, I'll see y'all guys at the spot. Listen to some music. Let's get it. All right. We are here at the fucking vlog spot. One of my favorites, if I do say so myself, which I do say so myself. So yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, so far I'm not trying to jinx it, but so far there's no bugs flying around like crazy. So far, that's it. But this video, it's about the ego. And again, the ego's a tool, right? I'm not saying to not listen to the ego or that it's a bad thing, because it's not. Like I said, it's a tool. It's just that when you forget that you're beyond it, it can become a bit of a problem, you know? Because most people spend their whole lives trapped inside of a mental noise, you know, constantly thinking, constantly reacting, constantly identifying with every emotion that passes through them, every belief, whatever, right? Every thought. And because of that, they start believing that the mind is who they are. The thoughts that they think is who they are. The beliefs is who they are. They make an identity out of everything. You know, but the mind is simply only a part of the experience. It's not entirely you. The ego is essentially a survival interface, a physiological identity built from memories, fear, conditioning, and comparison. That's what I was talking about, how I was comparing myself to people, and experiences. Useful in some ways, yeah, but dangerous when you mistake it for your whole existence, your whole identity, because the ego constantly wants control, constantly wants validation. It wants protection, certainty, comfort, status, comparison. Again, with the clavicular dude, he loves status, he loves comparing, because he compares himself to other dudes. I used to do the same, you know. So a lot of validation, you know. And it's like, it feeds on separation, that way of thinking, the ego. Me versus them, success versus failure, better versus worse, always comparing, always labeling everything, you know, separating everything. And when people become completely identified with ego, they suffer constantly, because the ego is never fully satisfied, like what I was saying. It's always wanting more. It's never enough. It's always wanting more reassurance, more control, more proof. But awareness itself, the real you that you are, awareness is different. Awareness observes, it flows, it bees, it just is. It notices thoughts without becoming them. And this realization and remembering of who you really are, which is awareness, changes a lot. Because if you can observe your thoughts, if you can observe your anxiety, your fears, you know, and remember that you're not the fear, you're not the anxiety, and you can observe your thoughts and know that you're not your thoughts, if you can witness emotions passing through you, then there is something deeper than the emotion itself at that point, right? That deeper awareness is what many spiritual traditions have pointed towards for thousands of years. Not becoming better than others, but not escaping humanity, but remembering your true, deeper nature beneath the noise, beneath the static. That's why practices like meditation, breath work, you know, plant medicine, silence, nature, mindfulness is so powerful, because they interrupt the endless mental loop long enough for awareness to reveal itself again. That's why meditation and psychedelics quiet the ego, the constant noise and chatter, so that you can finally see what's been there the whole time, beyond all the static and the noise. And no, this doesn't mean the ego is evil. Like I said, it's a tool. You still need identity to navigate human life. The problem is becoming fully consumed by it, believing that you are only your identity, your ego, your status, only your appearance, only your trauma, only your fears, because you are more than the character, right? More than the labels, more than the beliefs, more than the temporary stories passing through your nervous system, and more than what people think of you and perceive of you. And the moment you truly experience that, remember that, even briefly, reality starts to feel fucking a hell of a lot different. In a good way. You stop reacting to everything so fucking personally. You stop chasing validation as desperation, or even desperately, whatever. You stop feeling trapped by fear, by limiting beliefs. Because awareness expands, it's infinite. And with expanded awareness comes freedom. With it comes non-attachment. And if you're not attached to a certain way of being, or a certain belief or idea, you're free, you're light, you're flowy, you're able to perceive and receive of more insights and downloads from your higher self. You know? Because when we're constantly thinking and constantly comparing ourselves to other people, you are taking the awareness and the energy away from your body. And it's less magnetic, it's more resistance, it's less self-lovey, right? Because you're comparing and you're allowing your energy to leave away from your body. But when you remain centered in your body, practicing self-love, raising your awareness, remembering you're beyond the ego and the body and the thoughts, beyond all this comparing bullshit. Because a lot of people are so superficial, so ego. They'll see some fucking influencer, right, whatever, on TikTok or YouTube, and they'll get jealous and compare themselves to that because they got money, whatever, they're popular, you know. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we're all gonna die. You know what I mean? We're not gonna leave this planet with all of these cars and watches and money or whatever. We are here temporarily. So, and most of these people who are influencers, who are rich, they haven't found themselves within their soul. They're so burnt out, they're drained. They haven't found their what they really want to do. They're just listening to the ego. So they're buying things, never fully fulfilling their peace and happiness because they never found the peace and happiness within their own self beyond the physical. But that's why I always say you have to become rich spiritually, mentally, before you do physically with money, right? Because if you are rich mentally and spiritually, when you are rich physically with the money, you're going to keep that money because you know that nothing will satisfy you beyond the physical. You don't need all these cars, you don't need all these watches, you don't need all the girls or the guy, whatever, bro. You just need a roof over your head and your basic necessities met, right? The bills paid, food, cool. At least you have all this abundance of flow of income, of money that you could, if shit goes haywire, you got money, whatever. You got that chill, comfort, a bed of money just in case. But regardless, you found the peace and the happiness within yourself. You're not gonna go buy every new fucking thing, trying to fill a void. That's why a lot of people will win the lottery, and if they'll just spend it like that because they never found the peace within themselves. They think that every object or whatever buys them their happiness, you know. So then they blow their money and they're back to being depressed. You know. There's nothing that's gonna bring you happiness other than you, other than doing what you love and the connections that we build here in this life. And when you realize that, you're more likely to keep the money. You're gonna be rich physically, but you're not gonna blow it all, and you're gonna be smart with it, right? Financially, it's called like financial literacy type of thing, right? You're not gonna go bankrupt because you became rich mentally and spiritually, and because you know nothing outside of you satisfies you, it brings happiness or peace. You're gonna spend stupidly, you know. You're going to be smarter with what you do. Not even just money, but everything. That's why it's important to find yourself beyond that ego and the identity and the thoughts. Do things that feel like you. Like doing these videos, making my music, it feels very soulful. It feels very Josh, like beyond ego. Very just, you know, service to others, and it's just fun. Because I love helping people remember who they are. It's, you know, because I'm very passionate, right, when it comes to third eye and consciousness and spirituality, whatever, you know. So that feels very me. It's very soulful doing what I do. And when you do what you do that feels very soulful, you're rich spiritually, mentally. That's way better than any egoic desire, any car, any watch, any designer bag will bring you, you know. So fuck that shit. Everything is good. You just had to remember that you've always been beyond the ego. It's there to help you, but it's not you fully, right? You're the awareness observing all of this, all of the thoughts, all the emotions. You are both the director and the actor in your movie, in your reality. You're both the star in it and you're also the creator of it. You can change the script. Just become aware of it. Raise the awareness through breath work, through meditating, plant medicine. You know what it is you gotta do. And just, enjoy every moment. Don't take life too serious, because when you take life too serious, your blood pressure fucking spikes. Your cortisol is gonna spike. You don't want a cortisol spike. It's more peaceful when you don't attach and you don't take shit too serious. As the Beatles said, nothing is real, so nothing to get hung up about. Strawberry fields forever. They get it. So it's like that, just have fun with it all, because the more you have fun with it all, the more peaceful you're going to be, and the more peaceful you are, the more receptive you are to opportunities and connections and abundance, different forms of abundance. So, yeah, it's great, right? It's great remembering that you're not the ego, that you're more than that, because you don't allow it to control you anymore. Through remembering that you're not, you good, Josh? Fuck. Through remembering that you're more than the ego, You got this, guys. Namaste, Liddy. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Broken signal in my mind, tryna heal but I rewind. Every memory I hide, still alive, yeah. Broken signal in my chest, yeah. I don't run from the stress, yes. I just learned to coexist.